Should cruise ships give you an option if they have to change the itinerary? Carnival Cruise is trying to paint all their ships. And do you really read the small print on all of your cruises? And this is Cruise Detour's top headlines, and that is what's next. I should really have more coffee ready before I start filming. And some days there's a lot of news coming out for the cruise industry, and some days there's not. But the fun thing is learning all of this stuff. And if you're gonna be going on cruises, it's just so cool to have all the background details. Like, did you know Carnival Cruise Lines has approximately 29 cruise ships now, and 24 of them have officially been painted with the new red, white, and blue color scheme, while a couple of their ships, like the Influenza, no, that's not the right word, they have two Italian-style cruising ships that they got from Costa, and they moved over to the Carnival Cruise Lines, and those are slightly painted different, and I think there'll be a while before they get painted. They're saying that before 2025. It's always good to see these cruise lines updating and trying to keep it, I don't know, looking good. Like, I need some new Detours gear. Maybe try to keep me looking good. But there are two stories coming up that kind of float back to the same thing. Have you read all the small print on all of your cruise itinerary? Can I say I have for every single one of the cruises I've gone on? No, I haven't. But there are a lot of things in those little small prints you should know about it, like changing of your itineraries, or who can and cannot come on the cruise ship, what you can bring on the ship and what you cannot bring on the ship. So the first topic about reading the small print is there was a woman was trying to get on the cruise ship Carnival Magic, and in Carnival small print it does say that if you are over 24 months, 24 months pregnant, that'd be a long pregnancy. If you are 24 weeks pregnant or more, you cannot board a cruise ship. So for all the women out there that are having a baby, you might want to look into this, because Carnival says they are not prepared for labor on their ships. While some of the cruise food I have eaten have made me feel like I'm in labor, I don't think that's what they were talking about. And this woman's detour was pretty much canceled, and they did not refund her money. Do you feel that if you make an error, should the cruise line look at refunding your money or help that woman out in any way? 26 is not 24. You be the judge. Now, also in the small print, we are learning a lot about these days cruise ships changing the itinerary. But in this case, Royal Caribbean is doing something extremely different. They're going to let the cruise passengers vote on two different options. Democracy. I'm not even sure how I feel about this. So Royal Caribbean has a ship cruising on a world cruise. Well, they're running into some things around the Suez Canal. Swiss? So Royal Caribbean is going to be removing a section of the cruise that travels through the Suez Canal because they're concerned about missile strikes. Damn fine reason to be canceling something. But because of that, they're going to have to travel all the way around Africa and change the itineraries. They're going to be losing out on Jordan, Egypt, and Israel. I can see why right now. They are also canceling part of the itinerary that was going to Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey. And I think some of the biggest parts that is really suffering for this cruise is they're canceling Greece, Italy, and more of Turkey. So they're giving the passengers two options. The option number one is an Africa excursion package, which would include 20 ports, 11 countries, and 21 days at sea. It would be stopping in places like Madagascar, really cool, Namibia, Ghana, going around the tip of Africa and coming all the way back up to the Canary Islands before heading into the Mediterranean. This would allow them to hit 11 African countries, 20 total stops, and 21 days at sea. Option two would be an Africa and Greece itinerary. Now, because of this, they're going to have to cruise longer. They would end up with 26 days at sea, a lot less stops in Africa, but more in the Mediterranean. And they would still hit Cape Town, Alexandria, Egypt, the Canary Islands, and a whole bunch more stops around Greece and Italy. Now, if you're listening to this, and when I was reading this, I was kind of like, well, I pretty much know which one the passengers are going to take. But would you take a whole lot more Africa, or B, more days at sea, but more of Greece, Italy, and just a little bit of Africa? You be the judge. I'm going to keep watching to try to find out how this is resolved and see how it works out. I think it's interesting. It's a new way to go, and can never blame a cruise line for trying something different. And as we're talking about like possible ports changing on cruises, We have just booked our Alaskan cruise for this summer. Totally excited about that. All the videos will be here. Subscribe for that. But we're finding out that in Skagway, last year there was a couple rock slides, 2017 there was a bunch of rock slides, and it's looking like there's been a few lately. They have set up tunnels through these boxes and stuff like that to try to protect the guests getting off the ship. But after a little bit of research, I did find out that 3 of the docks in Skagway are still open. The 4th is actually closed. It must be the one nearest to the rock wall where the rocks are getting to the actual port. I'm also seeing some other TikToks and videos about this and people saying that the dock is jacked up in some spots. Little bit of football. So that just means that if a 4th ship was due, somebody's gonna get rearranged. Now, while it is difficult and inconvenient sometimes to have a port changed on you on somewhere you want it to go, I love detours, I love being on a ship, and I love traveling no matter what, because I truly do believe that the journey is the destination. So just being out there is a privilege, and I am so excited for our next cruise, which is to Bermuda, even before we go to Alaska. But if you want to see all of that, you got to subscribe, and maybe you'll see us on our next detour. Later.